Good morning, everyone. Um, Welcome to our study in the UK Life Clinic today. If you are joining us for the first time, my name is Olamumi from Team Consultancy UK, and this is a life clinic where we talk about everything that has to do with study in the UK. You want to study in the UK, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to start, you are clueless as to what you do. Yeah, this is the kind of live session you join, and then you get educated on a lot of things that you don't know before now. So we educate you on how you can start your journey to study in the UK. Once again, my name is Olawumi Iyoda from Team Consultancy UK, and you're welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about well, it is not something you have not heard before, right? But today I just want us to talk about understanding UK as a study destination, right? So many of you want to study in the UK, but London is the only place you know in the UK. You just go, okay, if I want to study in the UK, it has to be London. And then you've seen it somewhere online. You've heard from a friend that London is expensive. But you have no idea that there are other places where you can study in the UK. You don't even know about the UK regions and all of those things. So yeah, today I want us to look into study UK as a study destination. UK as a study destination. So one thing I would also want you to know is that where you choose to study, it matters a lot. Where you choose to study, it matters a lot. You can't choose a location just because of what I saw on TikTok. You can't choose a location because, oh, I heard that this particular school is cheap. You don't know about the location of the school, you don't know nothing, but you just heard that the school is cheap. And then you just want to proceed to study in the UK. So to get started, I would want to ask a question. Um, have you heard about, the UK four regions, schools that are in these regions? If you have your answers, you can drop it in the comment and let me see how updated you guys are. Let me see how educated you guys are when it comes to the UK as a study destination. So now let's start from the basics. The UK has four regions. The UK is made up of four regions. And then I'm going to be starting with England. A lot of students, I know when they come, when we talk to the students, sometimes they just be like, oh, do you have any location in mind? We ask them this question, and then the response is yes, England. Yes, so I'm going to start with England, which is like the popular location to international students. So this is like the popular location for international students, and then the major cities in England, I would say London, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, and a lot of them like that. But I mean, let's just mention few. So major cities in England: London, Birmingham, Manchester, and Leeds. So yeah, most universities are in England. England is also filled with job opportunities, but also a very, very competitive environment. So England is very competitive, just so you know. So I mean, England, I mentioned the major cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds. So at Team Consultancy, when we want to help you, when we counsel our students, we go deeper. So we don't do counseling on the surface. We don't just, want to rush you. Our service is free, right? So we don't just do, oh, let me do what I want to do to collect money from you. No, we are intentional. We educate you. We open your eyes, we open your mind to a lot of things that you don't know. I had a video counseling with a student this morning, and the video counseling was supposed to last for 30 minutes, and we were there for 1 hour. The student kept asking a lot of questions. The student was interested. The student has been dragging the whole I want to study in the UK. Well, he said he has had some really bad experience with agencies and all of that. But when we started the conversation, I was able to explain a lot of things he didn't know before now, a lot of things that are now helping him to make an informed decision. So when I come here and I talk about you booking a one-on-one counseling session with us, yeah, we know what we are doing, because honestly, counseling is not just about, we reach out to our students, we call students, right? But counseling is not just about picking up my phone to just call you to say, oh, are you interested? Okay, let's proceed. The reason for our one-on-one video counseling, honestly, is for the student benefit, so that you can come and ask us the questions, those things that you have no idea. We are going to explain things to you in such a way that, oh, if you have been dragging before, if there are things that you don't know before, even if you need to pause, right? If you have not gotten some things right and then you need to pause before proceeding to apply, we would encourage that, because at the end of the day, it's not how far but how well. It is not just about you rushing to get started, it is about you doing it right with the right help. So I'm going to start again. If you check the comments, we have a link there for our video counseling session, right? Try to book a counseling session for us from with us today. Book with us today, and then you have our counselors there to attend to you. There is a counselor for every booking. So when you book a session with us, we are there, and then please be available for the time you are booking. So that is why you have the opportunity to book yourself. So you can book the time that you know that you are going to be available. I'm moving on from England now. The next region is Scotland. So now I've mentioned England and I said the major cities there are London, Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds, right? And then now I'm going into England. So major cities sorry, I'm going into Scotland. So major cities in Scotland, examples are Glasgow, right? Edinburgh, right? So Scotland is likely a more relaxed environment, right? It is often very affordable um location when it comes to the universities, and then it has a strong academic reputation. So I know that I've come across some students that actually prefer Scotland because of the calmer lifestyle. Yeah, I've had a conversation with a student before, and then the student was just like, yeah, I like the calm lifestyle. I have a friend who is currently studying at I think Glasgow Caledonian University, and then she talks about the calm lifestyle and all of that, and that's the reason why I want to also, study in Scotland. It is okay if you have somebody giving you real life updates. They're already in the UK and then they are telling you things, but please make sure the reason why you are choosing a location aligns with your purpose, aligns with your budget, your purpose, your goals, and everything that you want out of that particular dream to study in the UK, right? You are choosing this location not because, oh, my friend is there and this is what she said. You are choosing the location because it aligns with you. And now you have an experienced counselor who is going to like enlighten you further, tell you things that you don't know before now, right? And then let's not take too much of our time. I'll move into Wales. So I've mentioned England, I've mentioned Scotland, and now I'm going to Wales. So Wales is the third region out of the UK four regions. I started with the four regions, and then when I started, I said England, Scotland, and Wales. This is an educative session for people who don't know that, oh, the UK is not just about London, right? We have four regions. We have the England, we have Scotland, and now I said Wales. So example of a city in Wales is Cardiff, right? You guys have heard about Cardiff Metropolitan University here. So we have Cardiff. And then I think for Wales, lower cost of living in Wales, smaller student population, I guess, and then it is a more peaceful environment. So you can see that every location, every region comes with their own advantages. They all have their own, unique qualities, right? So whenever you want to study in the UK and then you are talking to a counselor, I would say a counselor from team consultancy, of course, make sure you find out more about the location you're going to. if you're being recommended, if they recommend the school to you, right? Oh, we are recommending this particular school. Ask questions about the location of the school. And please also try to do your own findings, right? Don't just depend on what you are saying on TikTok, what somebody is just saying, right? Also do your own findings, do your own research, because at the end of the day, if you do your own research, you are going to know better. Whenever you want to do an interview, like your precast interview, you are confident enough to actually say some things, right? Because you did your research and then you understand these things very well. So now I'm going to be moving to the fourth region, which is the last region, and then that will be Northern Ireland. So example of a major city here is Belfast. So here we have smaller population of international students. It is often more affordable, and then it's also a very calm environment, right? So I've mentioned the four region now. If you have not answered my question in the comments, now that I've mentioned the four region, I would want you to drop it in the comment. Let me see if you guys are following. Right. So I mentioned England, Scotland, I mentioned Wales, and now I said Northern Ireland. So I mentioned major cities under each region, right? So now you know that the UK is not just about London, and then choosing the wrong environment can affect your comfort level, your budget, even your academic performance, right? So you now know that from the very beginning, when you plan to study in the UK, every decision you make matters a lot, and then it starts from the location as well. So I'll also be talking about some of these major cities that I've mentioned. I'll be talking about some of the major cities that I've mentioned. So I'm going to start with Birmingham. Now, Birmingham is very interesting. I don't know. I had to start with Birmingham. Yes, Birmingham is very, very interesting. It is one of the balanced cities in the UK. When I mean balance, it is balanced on all levels, right? So we can say that Birmingham is, of course, more affordable than London. There is a good transport system, large student population, and then, of course, good job opportunities. So for those of you who wants to be in an environment where you have students like you, right? You are just getting to a location and then you just want to be able to have people like you around. Yes, Birmingham has it has a lot of student population. And now one thing I'm going to also say is in Birmingham we have some key partnered universities in Birmingham. And I'm talking if you have a budget of 5,000, 6,000, up to 8,000 tuition deposit, trust me, we have a school for you in Birmingham, right? You are looking at overall tuition that is not more than £15,000, we have a school for you. So we have some very, very good school for you in Birmingham. If you want to study in the UK, you understand the UK locations. Birmingham is one of the locations you'd really want to study in. Make sure to reach out to us today because we have one of the best options for you in Birmingham. Please reach out to us. Another way to reach out to us is by booking a one-on-one video counseling session with us where we explain everything to you, where you are going to get the full information of the school we have for you in Birmingham. So yes, I would need to now drop a question. Let me read the question out. So if you had to choose between London stress or high cost or Birmingham balance, which one would you choose? So I wouldn't say London is stressful, but if you had to choose between Birmingham and London, which one would you choose? Please drop your response in the comments. So another major city, key city I'll be talking about is Manchester. I've said something about Birmingham and now Manchester. Manchester is another top choice, trust me. I have a lot of students who comes and then they want Manchester as their study location. So Manchester also is very popular with international students. It has a strong student community as well, good job opportunities, and then of course lower cost than London, right? So some students would even come and say, "Oh, I want Manchester." Because it feels like student city on a steroids because everywhere you go you see students just like Birmingham. everywhere you go, you see students, right? You want to be in a location where you have access to other students like you. Manchester is the location. So now talking about Manchester as a location, I have a very, very good information for you guys. So if you are a registered nurse in Nigeria or wherever in your home country, you are a registered nurse, and then your qualification, the qualification you have is not a bachelor's degree, and that is what has been stopping you from proceeding, because of course you don't want to start all over. You don't want to proceed to now start to do a bachelor's degree of 3 years. Okay, so we have something for you in Manchester. We have something for you in Manchester. So we have a school for you in Manchester that is currently offering a 1 year BSc nursing studies top up. It's a BSc top up in nursing studies, and it is just for 1 year. And apart from the fact that it's a top up that is just for 1 year, right? The tuition deposit is as low as £5,500, and then you get up to £3,000 scholarship for this particular program that I just mentioned. So I know, for especially for the Nigerian students, we get a lot of inquiries about, oh, I'm a registered nurse, oh, this, I'm a registered nurse, but the qualification is like HND equivalent. So you know that with an HND you might not be able to proceed to do your direct masters, especially when it has to do with nursing, right? It is nursing. So now, as a registered nurse, you have an opportunity to top up your degree, to top up that degree to a full bachelor's degree in just 1 year. Cash deposit is as low as £5,500. So you are going to believe me, you are going to, like, be with me on this, that in this era of increased tuition deposit, especially for programs like nursing, we know that 5,500 is a very good option. On top of the low tuition deposit, you get up to £3,000 as scholarship. Please, if this is something you're interested in, book a one-on-one video counseling with us as a registered nurse to proceed. Also have it in mind that offers like this don't stay around for too long. Offers like this, you don't get to have them around for too long. Now I'm going to be moving into key major location one key major location, I would say London. So I talked about Birmingham, Manchester, and then now I want to talk about London. So a lot of people already have this notion that London is expensive, or I don't want to study in London just because London is expensive. I don't want to be in London because London is expensive. So London is not just the capital city of the UK, it is also one of the biggest global hubs in the world. I'm sure you know that. So I know that you already know that London is also filled with opportunities. As an international student, London is filled with opportunities. And then if you ask me, why should you study in London, right? You should study in London because of the global companies that we have in London. We have a lot of international organizations, top industry, networking opportunities from different countries. When you study in London, you have access to students. You can network with people from a lot of different other countries. So if you ask me, is it expensive to study in London? We all know this, right? If you want to study in London, you know the living expenses in London is higher than a location that is outside London. But should this be the reason why you're not choosing London as a study location? This should not be the reason why, because that's not the only thing you look at. So you're going to look at the other factors as well. You're going to look at the other advantages, right? And then you also need to know that at the end of the day, you are getting absolute value for your money. You are getting absolutely value for your money. So what you're getting in return if you study in London is that you are paying for location advantage, you are paying for job opportunities, you are paying for networking access, you are paying for prestige of studying in a global city. Those are the things you get when you study in London. Now, I understand that London is not for everyone. If you cannot afford to study in London, it is totally fine. It is okay. As a matter of fact, we have some students who would come and then they want London They want a school in London. They don't want any other school outside London. London is just the location you want. So if you know that you can afford it, of course, go ahead. London is the best. London is fantastic. It's a very, very good location, right? So yeah, London is very good. So I think I'll give you an example of this whole London scenario. So a student who chooses a cheaper city just because of the cost, and then student who chooses London because she wanted exposure and networking. You can see that those two students, they are not the same. You are choosing a cheaper option, but your reason is just because it is cheap. You don't have any other reason why you want to study in that location. Student that chooses London, but they are very intentional. They know the reason why they are choosing London. The difference between these two students is knowing what they are doing, being intentional. Now, I'm not saying by all means you should study in London. No, I just spoke about Manchester as one of the best, places as well. I just talked about Birmingham as well. But I just need to erase, that mentality from people's head that, oh, London is expensive and for this reason I cannot study in London. If you can afford to study in London, please go ahead and study in London. So for everybody who is saying this live session, if you want to study in London and then your budget is as low as £3,500, we have something for you. Something for years. We have something for you. We have a school that the cash deposit is as low as £3,500. And guess what? You are even getting up to £4,000 scholarship when you study in this school. So yes, this is a very, very good opportunity for a London school. If this sounds interesting to you, if this is what you've been looking for, please book a one-on-one video counseling session today, where I give you the information about the school, the entry requirements, and then everything you need to know about the school. But there is just always something for everyone. There is something for everybody. Give me some few minutes, please. So please, if you're ready to study in the UK, please book a one-on-one video counseling session with us. So another thing I would like to talk about today is the tuition deposit. That's the initial deposit every student must pay when you get an offer from the school. So I have a lot of students. So you want to study in the UK, right? And then you already have your plans. You have your financial budget. This is how much I have to proceed to study in the UK, which is okay, which is fine to plan yourself, right? So you already know, if I get an offer from a school, this is how much I'm willing to pay as deposit. Because when we have a video counseling session, or when we talk to you, your budget is part of the things we also talk about. Your budget is part of the things we would ask you. What is your budget? As this would help us know a school to recommend to you, right? So I want to clear something about tuition deposits. That's like the initial deposits. A lot of us, a lot of international students, all you want to hear is, oh, I want a very low tuition deposit school. I want a tuition deposit as low as £2,000, £2,500. That's not a problem at all, because I mean that is your budget. But most of the time, I always tell students, do you even look beyond a tuition deposits? Do you look beyond the deposits? So I'm going to give you an example. School A. School A have a tuition deposit of £3,000, overall tuition of £17,000 after scholarship. So school A has a tuition deposit of £3,000, overall tuition of £17,000 after scholarship, and then school B have a tuition deposit of 50%, and then overall tuition of, let's say, £12,000. Guys, if you look at these two options, which one are you going to choose? To pay a tuition deposit of 3,000, but knowing that your overall tuition is £17,000, or a school that says come and pay 50%, but your overall tuition is £12,000. So 50% of 12,000 is going to be £6,000, right? So you look at £3,000, you look at £6,000, and then immediately you are thinking £3,000 is a good option for you. You've been looking for a school with a lower deposit, then you just found the right option. Guys, it doesn't work that way. So even if you're not talking to us, but you're talking to a counselor, please request for the full information. When they send you a recommendation, look at it very well. Weigh the options, right? Look at a school that has like the overall tuition of £12,000, but you are supposed to pay £6,000 deposit, which is the 50%. But and the school requesting for £3,000 deposit, but the overall tuition is 17,000. Always remember that the deposit you pay here in Nigeria, by the time you get to school, you're going to be paying your tuition balance as well, right? So you look far beyond the deposit. You look far beyond the deposit. You look at the overall tuition before you now make your decision, right? Always try to make smart decisions. So if what you have to do at that time is to increase your budget, this might not be easy, but this is like a smart decision you have to make. This is a decision that might affect you, at the end of the day. So it takes, a lot to make that particular. So think about it very well. If what you have to do is, increasing your budget, please do. And don't just settle for a school because, it has a lower tuition deposit. Look far beyond the tuition deposit. So now I get some questions from students, and I always come here to check to share all these frequently asked questions. We don't know if you have this question in mind or this is a question you've been looking for an answer to. I'll just share a few of these questions. So the first one is London better for jobs? That's the question some students would ask me. Like, please be honest with me. When it comes to jobs, is London better? Yes, London is better for jobs. Yes, London is best for jobs. But is it expensive? Yes, it is equally expensive, right? That's the honest truth. London is the best when it comes to job, and it is also not cheap to study in London, right? Okay. Is lower deposit school bad? So, I mean, I get a lot of questions from students when you try to advise them to make the right decision, to not settle and all of that, right? Lower tuition deposit school is not a bad school. Because it has a lower tuition deposit does not mean it is a bad school. But one thing we just always want you to check is check the total tuition and see if it is okay. Check after you have paid that £3,000, the balance that is left for you is not about another £15,000. And then you are leaving a school of the overall tuition of 12 or £13,000 just because they say come and pay 50%, right? So please always check this. But that does not mean the school is bad. So another question I get a lot from students is, which city is best for students? So some students, they don't even want you to pitch a particular city for them. They just want you to tell us which one is best. I mean, you work with UK schools, you've seen a lot of schools from different cities. Which one do you think is best? So my response every time is, there is no best city, only best fit for your budget and your goals, right? So I would say studying in the UK is not a one size fits all. Like, we have different options. We have different options of schools, courses, tuition deposits, overall tuitions, everything is different. If we have a situation where, maybe tuition deposit or overall tuition for every school is the same, or maybe we can now talk about that. But in this situation, everything is different. So my best response is that there is no best city, but there is a best location for you, and then the location that might be best for student A might not be best for student B, right? So because this particular option is best for this one does not mean the same school is best for the other person. Thank you for joining this session with me today. This has been an interesting session so far, and then I'll be wrapping up at this point. I want you to all to look out for us next week again, next week Thursday at 11 a.m. Nigerian time. join this session with us next week again, and then I'll have another interesting topic. I'm going to come with another interesting topic for us next week. Do have a wonderful day.